Abe Mashal appears to be living the American dream.
Sit.
Professional dog trainer.
Stay.
Loving father. Marine Corps veteran.
This is the letter from the Department of Homeland Security.
But in 2010, the U.S. government put Abe Mashal on its no-fly list. Mashal, who has no criminal or terrorism record, says authorities told him there was a way off the list.
Would you agree to become an informant for us and go undercover and find out about certain people at various mosques in the area?
Mashal refused and is now part of a group of U.S. citizens suing the government. The no-fly list was just one measure instituted by the Bush administration immediately after the 9/11 attacks, including the security you can see, full-body screening at airports, street surveillance cameras, and searches at public events. But some of the tactics you don't see have been criticized for violating the very civil liberties they were meant to uphold: freedom of speech, association, and privacy.
The whole idea that we needed to give up our liberties in order to be safe was based on this sort of fearful mindset immediately following 9/11.
Perhaps the most criticized part of the government's domestic terrorism prevention campaign, the Patriot Act, expanding government surveillance powers. If someone living in the U.S., like me, might have information relevant to a terrorism investigation, the government can now, legally and without a warrant, track all of my movements, monitor my financial transactions, intercept my phone calls and my internet history. And I would never know. Officials involved in the early days of the new Homeland Security regime say they know they made mistakes, but they say the measures have prevented another attack.
Quite frankly, we have done a very good job in protecting and preventing things from happening. On any given day, national security all of a sudden is a dramatically wider concept than it had been in the past.
A decade later, critics say some of the emergency measures are in danger of becoming permanent because there's no political will to fix them.
Sometimes people look at America like we're the beacon of freedom and everything else, but I think those freedoms have been tainted.
Abe Mashal says that will needs to be found, and soon, so that he and other Americans can get back to living their lives without restriction or suspicion. Rosiland, Al Jazeera, Washington.